back in the 60s, 70s, there was this experiment that was done. There was these scientists, and they had these two groups of mice. And so with one group of the mice, what they did was that they kept them all in this like cage, and there was nothing really in the cage, but they did have two water bottle drinkers for them, and so and one of the water bottles was just pure water, and in the other water bottle was water laced with heroin. And what happened, obviously, is that the mice, or it might have been rats actually, mice or rats, they got addicted to the heroin, feverishly addicted, and they didn't even drink the water at all. And but where the experiment gets interesting is with the second group of mice. What they did was that they did the same thing. They had the mice in a cage type environment, and they had the two bottles of water. They had one with water, and then they had the other one that was the water laced with heroin. But what was different about this second environment was that they created an ideal, like a rat heaven, a rat paradise, if you will, Matt Rice, whatever it was, paradise. That it was just set up with all kinds of the stuff that they liked, and they could just all kinds of good stuff. They basically created it like a rat, mouse, rodent paradise, whatever they did. But they created it like a paradise. And what was interesting is that the rodents didn't end up getting hooked on the heroin water. In fact, they only drank the water, the regular water. They didn't get hooked on the heroin water. They tried it, but they didn't get hooked on it. They just stuck to drinking the water. And how that blew their mind is that made them had to reanalyze and think about addiction. And basically, what they discovered and what it illustrated is that behind all addiction lies discomfort, lies pain from something, whether it's psychological, physical, environmental, and that a lot of the reasons why we are addicted is due and develop addictions is due to our environment. And that when these rats and so forth were in an ideal environment, that the addictions didn't came up. But when they were in a really crappy environment, just like a bear cage, all stuffed in together, that they got feverishly addicted to the heroin water because they were so uncomfortable, had so much discomfort, that they naturally just gravitated towards something that would give them some relief. But when they were in an ideal environment, that they didn't need that relief, and that they were basically content with how they were, and they liked how they were. And so what that has to do with us is to understand that most of us, we are living in an ideal environment. In fact, I'm quite certain that you're living in an ideal, in a less than ideal environment. And what I mean by that, unless you're like an Indian living out in the jungle, you don't have to work. You don't have any, dramas of the real world. You can just wake up and go live your life and go dance by the fire at night, like an Indian out in nature would. Then most likely, if you're living in this real world, in this real 21st century, like all of us, then you're kind of like those rodents that are in the less than ideal environment, and that's naturally why we gravitate towards things that are going to help to relieve the discomfort. Addiction. That's why addictions are rampant, because we are we're all pretty much living in a less than ideal environment, and I think deep down inside, we all know that. There's so many problems in the world today. Just a lot of craziness going on, and we're all overworked. We're all super busy, and there's just right now the world is suffering due to ill health and all kinds of problems going on, and you may have home life problems as well, and so it can be really easy to naturally gravitate towards things that are gonna relieve the pain. And that's what happens with addiction. You end up turning to the bottle, turning to beer, turning to wine, developing an addiction. So what does this have to do? The reason why I'm sharing this is because with awareness is the beginning of making change. When you start to understand, it's hard to know how to win a game that you don't know how the game is played. You don't know the rules of the game. If I were to, tell you, you had to go win this game of baseball, but you had no idea about the rules of the game, then it would be very frustrating. You'd go out into the field, and what would you do? Would you kick the baseball? Would you throw the bat against the fence. You wouldn't really know what to do. It'd be frustrating. But once you understand the rules of the game, then you'd have a chance and would be able to do a great job at playing baseball. And so this is the same thing with life. The more you understand the rules of the game and how things work, the more with that awareness you can have a fighting chance at your success. So by understanding this, that our environment is one of the leading causes of addiction, having a poor environment, and knowing that, we're in a less than ideal world, what can you do about that? Well, I'm going to provide you some tips. What you can do is you can't change everything in the world. You can't easily instantly snap your finger and develop world peace, and you can't instantly snap your fingers and become a millionaire and so forth. But what you can do is you can begin to make changes within the environment that you can control. And what I mean by that is your home. You can begin to, if you have a really messy and a disastrous home, you can begin to clean your home. You can create an environment with your home that you like. My bedroom is all nice and clean. Right now my fridge looks like a mess and everything, but I do keep my house nice and clean, and my rooms and so forth. Keep your your household clean. Try to and then clean also those out of your life that bring you stress and that aren't, and sometimes it can be family and friends that are close to you, but you may have to clean them out of your life. It doesn't mean that you never can associate with them again, but if these are people that are consistently bringing you stress on a regular basis, they don't believe in you, they don't support you, they make fun of you, they make you feel bad about yourself, whether it's a husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever, then you're going to have to do some serious soul searching, and either find a way to limit your time with those individuals as much as possible, or completely cut it off with them, just depending on how bad it is. But by having those types of people in your life, again, you're creating a less than ideal environment for you. And that is something that you can control, unless you're like 10 years old and live at home with your parents or whatever. Then you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Your job, maybe you absolutely hate what you do for your career. Well, guess what? It is possible to change your career. It's not like you have a gun to your head saying that, you're going to get shot if you change your career. I know a lot of times people feel like they can't quit their job or change their career, but you can. So you can choose, maybe you have to take a little less pay or whatever, but, it's absolutely worth having better peace of mind. I know I could make a lot more money if I were to sell my soul and live an unhappy life, but, I make decent money, but I have a lot of peace in my life, and I'm very happy, and I like that. That's why I'm not chasing addictions and trying to mask the pain in my life. And I've taken action to set up my life in a manner that I have, an ideal an environment. And I'm always working to help improve my environment. Another thing you can do is by creating empowering hobbies. Maybe you don't really have a lot of hobbies, but think about some things that you would like to enjoy. Maybe exercising on a regular basis. One of the best things you can do for your environment is to begin to improve your health. That's talk about your most immediate environment is the physical body that your soul is trapped inside. So you can begin to change that environment by exercising on a regular basis, choosing to eat healthier foods, fruits, vegetables, whole foods. Do a fast, a cleanse, and exercise on a regular basis. Begin to transform that environment, the most immediate environment. And so as you become proactive in changing your environment, the things that are truly within your control, what will happen is and it can take time to shift and create that ideal environment. What will happen is that you'll find that all of a sudden you won't crave as much those bad habits, you won't crave as much to hide the pain, and it becomes easier to become sober. And it's and I like to compare it almost to, rather than spray painting over rust, finding a way to temporarily, you've healed the problem at the root. And this may be hard to understand, and this is a process that I do feel takes time, but it is something that you can begin to take action on immediately. You can slowly but surely be proactive in making changes to transform your environment. And as you do that, you'll find that as you create that ideal, just like the ideal rodent paradise environment, that naturally you won't need to hide the pain as much. And there's a lot of work that you may have to do, maybe psychological. Maybe you got to start to go to a Tony Robbins seminar, work on healing those past traumatic traumas, situations you've been through in your life. Well, you can do that. You can work on it. I've gone to a lot of seminars and things like that and done a lot of exercises and things to help heal and forgive the the past traumas that I've been through. Because if not, again, your immediate environment, your brain is the thing that's always thinking and firing emotions and all of that. So as you heal that, then again, you're creating that ideal environment, you're having peace, and you don't need as much to turn to the bottle and find ways to mask the pain. So guys, just a short message, but I wanted to share that on you, that that is the truth about addiction, that our addiction ultimately lies in our environment, but you have the control to begin to change your environment. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Let's make it a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.